Hello and welcome to India at War. Today, at our very first episode, we will discuss about the Agnipath Scheme, a new era and new dawn for the Indian military services. If we do not upgrade and update our military with time, there is no possible or even magical ways where we can win a war against our enemies residing outside and inside our borders. Indian Army, Navy and Air Force haven't seen a major upgrade in a very long time. The military, especially the Army, had wanted the tour of duty program just like the US Army and UK Army since 1989. But finally, with Agnipath Scheme, the Indian Army, Navy and Air Force will get voluntary forces for 4 years. But as soon as the government had announced the scheme, extremely violent protests erupted in 14 states. Among these 14 states, youth who claimed that they wanted to be a part of Indian military services displayed the most violent incidents in Bihar, Uttar Pradesh and Jharkhand. They have destroyed more than 100 railway coaches and 7 rail engines and damaged railway stations. A lot of trains were cancelled due to these protests, and the Indian Railways has estimated the damage and loss of 500 crores in Indian rupees. This is a very staggering figure. The protests were planned and designed mainly by coaching institutes that guide military aspirants to crack the difficult entrance exams of the Indian Armed Services, as the coaching institutes believed that they will lose students and make losses in crores. If they make enough violent protests, the government may come under pressure and withdraw the new scheme. But the government and the 3 branches of military services held their ground firmly and announced that there won't be any rollback like the farm laws. So if you wanted to serve our nation, you can check out our article or just stick to the last of this video. You will get truthful and honest information about this Agnipath scheme. The available information issued by the forces and government about the scheme and the positives of the scheme. Firstly, check out the benefits for the candidates. Number 1. Job opportunities. At the age of 17 and 21 years, no other job opportunity in the world except the military services can be availed at this time and age group. Almost no one gets a job except in a special field. Number 2. 25% of the best Agniveers will get permanent job opportunities after 4 years based on their service and devotion. As the government will be selecting the best of the best, the quality of Indian Armed Forces will increase brilliantly. Number 3. The rest of 75% of Agniveers will get better preferences for employment in various paramilitary forces such as Assam Rifles, Coast Guard, State Police, HAL, GRSE and various private sectors like the Tata Sons through the Agniveer certificate. The certificate will be given to the Agniveers at the end of their 4-year service. The Agniveers won't be requiring any further training. This way the government will save a lot more money in training the forces. Number 4. Saving of rupees 11.71 lakh or almost 12 lakhs will be given to the Agniveers at the end of 4 years service. It is also free from any taxes. It is an unmatched offer for a middle class boy or girl who is 21 to 25 years old. Number 5. The Agniveers are insured with rupees 48 lakh life cover. And if they get martyred, the family will get the money. All the policy premiums will be paid by the government. Number 6. The Agniveers will be eligible for easy and low interest loans from banks and various government schemes such as Mudra Yojana. This way, if a young Agniveer wants to start his or her business after serving the nation, can do it easily. Number 7. Above all, the Agniveers will get unmatched military training from the most professional military services in the world, which is not comparable to money or anything else. The Agniveers will be more professional, devoted and disciplined. All 3 of these qualities are currently lacking in most of the Indian youths. The Agnipath scheme will surely start to change the direction of Indian youths and push them for a better nation. Number 8. The current average age of working professionals in the Indian military services is 32, which is pretty old if you consider and compare with other nations like USA and UK. But with Agnipath scheme, the average military age of Indian soldiers will come down to 26 years, including the officers. Number 9. Young people who take more risks than older people. This is why Indian armed services will perform much better with this Agnipath scheme. Young people also recover from injuries faster than older people. When you need to guard the unforgiving Himalayas and deserts like Thar, you have to be strong, agile, and fit from both mind and body. Number 10. The cost of maintaining the huge military force will reduce. Currently, India's more than half of the military budget goes to pay the salary and pensions of the current and retired soldiers. This way, the military doesn't get enough money left for modernization and procurement of new equipment. But with the Agnipath scheme, when the military doesn't need to pay a huge amount of money every month on pensions, the military will have more money to fund modernization and procurements. The portion of pension in the defense budget at 19% in the 2012-2013 financial year, which grew to 26% in 2019-20. In 2021, the government has allocated 1,33,825 crores or 28% of the defense budget for pensions, while capital outlay was rupees 1,07,233 crores or 23% of the defense budget. Number 11. Women's empowerment will also be on the card of the Agnipath scheme. The Navy and Air Force have already announced that they will take female sailors and pilots, which will give a huge boost to women empowerment. Number 12. India will have more reserve forces than ever. This way, for any war-like situation or natural disaster, we will have a highly trained professionals who can join the battle or rescue missions at a moment's notice. So who will get hurt by the Agnipath scheme? If the government has introduced the Agnipath scheme, there will be people who will make some huge losses apart from the enemies of India. They are not hidden enemies. They are mostly scavengers who want to make profits from chaos. The tuition centers which train students or candidates for the armed forces will not be able to pull their deep-rooted strings for the recruitments. But the candidates and government can also get hurt. So let us check out the losses for the candidates. Number 1. After 4 years of service, going back for higher studies will be a little difficult for a discontinued student in comparison to a fresh candidate. But the 2019 new education policy can come into effect and ensure that the Agniveers can opt for higher education if they want. A possible quota for servicemen should be introduced. Number 2. Those who do not opt for higher education after 10th or 12th and joined the Agnipath scheme will only be able to sit for the post examination in the highest upper divisional clerk levels. Number 3, 75% of the candidates will be deprived of increment and pension benefits after 4 years of service. The loss for the government? Number 1. There will always be a chance that the tour of duty or Agnipath scheme candidates won't take many risks during their service life. But with better training and psychological analysis, this can be averted. Number 2, there can be inequality between two types of recruits in the job. And since the stabilization will be based on an evaluation 4 years of service, there will be a possible risk of bias and nepotism. Number 3, at the end of the contract-based job, the candidate can join any separatist organization or anti-social gangs, completely disrespecting their uniform and oaths. But again, with better training, psychological analysis and opportunities, all these unsavory situations can be easily averted. But India at war believes that all these negatives are just mere possibilities and won't come to a reality, as a youth who wants to serve our country, India, don't do it for money. They do it for the love of the motherland. They do it for the love. All these possible situations are mainly introduced by the gang of tuition institutions who offer the coaching to crack the hard military service entrance exams and some opposition political parties especially. So what now? If you wanted to serve the nation by joining the military services, Agnipath should be your first preference. You can also opt for NDA, CDS and AFCAT schemes if you want to become an officer in the Indian Armed Forces. Those who have burnt railway carriages, damaged railway stations and properties will be banned from these schemes. So instead of protesting against the scheme, learn more from your nearest army, navy or air force station and prepare for it. Prepare for the examinations, as the military has announced that they won't back down and roll back the Agnipath scheme. The Army, Navy and Air Force have already announced their recruitment process. You can find their links in the description section of this video. Final take. Agnipath scheme is undoubtedly a great scheme for the Indian youth. It is for those who really want to serve the nation with pride and honor and not for money. Finally, when generations of Agniveers will take charge of our nation, our country will be more disciplined and ordered with fewer criminal activities. India at War appeals to the protesters to stop protesting and learn some more about the scheme and do something better for the nation. As the era of warfare is changing and drones are now constituting a huge chunk of battle materials, in the future wars may fought by advanced AI-powered robots and drones, we will be needing less human resources. So the Agnipath scheme could be a way to recruit more tech-savvy youths for our military forces. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and please do share with any Agnipath scheme aspirant. Thank you very much.